9. Check the radio, pit crew is far from slow. The lights no longer yellow. Ready, steady, go. Crank it up. Oh, it's racing. 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 In love with the ride. Burning rubber smells real nice. Fuel it up once or twice. Come on, fast is the way to drive. Crowds all on their feet. Not one bothered by the heat. Imagine them in the driver's seat. Checkered flag would be sweet. Crank it up. Oh, it's racing. 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 Everybody get ready. On your feet. Here we go. 3, 2, 1. Crank it up. Crank it up. Oh, it's racing. 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 Crank it up.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back here to Pizza Races TV, and we are down today at Long Pond, Pennsylvania, as we're getting ready for tonight's action here of the Spartan Logistics Management LLC iRacing IROC Series Challenge. It's time to get down to the business, time to get down to the big track, as these drivers are getting saddled up and saddled down here in old PA. Alright everyone, I am the Crusader Christian Driver on the line tonight here as we get prepared for the action here. Drivers getting last minute laps in here, getting last minute positions in on this very, very cloudy day. And don't worry, the rain's supposed to stay away. It's not there just yet on iRacing, or so we know. Warm-ups really again just kind of taken care of here as drivers just continue to work their way off around the track, kind of get the last preparations in here today as we get ready for tonight's action. We want to give a big thank you and sponsor to their sport. So Spartan Logistics Management LLC by R&R Racewear, the official web store for iRacing IROC Challenge Series, as well as for the official iRacing store. By Loud Pedal Gaming TV, we're smashing the loud pedal of your viewing entertainment. By SimSpeedShop.com. By Track Time Entertainment. And by 5-Star Graphics. A big thank you in large part from the iRacing IROC Challenge Series, as well as us here at P3's TV for supporting the show. Final preparations now being complete here. Laps are now complete and the minutes have timed away. We're ready to go racing here with the drivers as the Next Gen Cup Series. Hopefully do not end up doing that if all is said and done. Alright, let's take a look real quick at our track tech talk before we get to tonight's action here. Again, we are down in Long Pond, PA. It's the Tricky Triangle, and no, we were not lying. This is legitimately a tricky little triangle. It is a triangular oval design. Only 3 corners based off 3 different terms out of the world, I believe. Indy, Nazareth, and I cannot off the top of my head think of the other one all of a sudden. I think Michigan's the other one. But they are all based, every turn based off a different track, different layout. Only 2 turns have really been able to be completed and mastered by the drivers before. It's very difficult to get that final third one, We'll see if any of them can master it today as we now look at tonight's starting lineup. Brian McCann will pilot the number 3 to his outside. Troy Radford, the number 94. Row number 2, Neil Quick, and number 2 to his outside. That'll be Brandon Medford in the 83. Row number 3, Cease Quick, and the 54 is outside. That's Chris Medford in the 46. Row number 4, Vincent Short, and the 15 is outside. Kyle Pengraff in the number 14. Row number 5 is going to be Tim Schofield. Number 12 is outside. Chris Wally in the 5. Row number 6 is going to be David E. Brown. 7 is outside. Brian Rose in the 89. Row number 7, that will be piloted up by, of course, Paul Buzel. The number 90 is outside. David Tremblay in the 96. Row 8, Matt Kopp in the 22 is outside. Brian Reich, the number 112. Row 9 sees Ray Radford in the 47 is outside. Doug Wysocki, the 34. Row 10 sees Cody Harger in the 66, piloted up by the outside. The defending champion, Aaron Smith, in the number 1. Final stars in this one. In row 11, Jeff Napier in the 40 is outside. Carson Conway, the number 82. Race fans, let's get down to business here at Long Pond. The field is getting ready to run them on down to the course, down them onto the track side here as everyone gets ready to go for this one. This looks to be a star-studded lineup here of drivers looking to try to play their hand, play it well. At the same time, trying to avoid troubles down on the track side of things. 100 laps of the distance here today. They're going to have to test and be very patient with themselves. Stage cautions will definitely be of a help and bit of a grievance here for these guys, but for the most part, it's all about timing, pacing, and control. When these guys get out onto the track here, they know they're going to have to be very, very conservative and very concerned on how far they get to one another and how close they'll get with one another. It's gonna be a feast or salmon kind of day, a battle of beast and leeway here as the drivers work their way on around. Filed them off out of turn number 3 this time by. You thought I was gonna say turn number 4, didn't you? Nope, no turn 4 here. But a green flag in the air means we're off to the races. Hard charging right out of the gate here, and what the heck, man? Am I seeing double out there, or am I seeing drivers really kicking up dust at the start? I don't know if I'm seeing dust or if I'm seeing a grainy pixel slated sand down there, but I almost swear I saw some dust kicking up from these guys out of the gate. I've seen dirt. We know dirt can get dusty, a little bit crowdy there as well. I just didn't know all of a sudden now you can actually get a little bit dirty and down with the actual next-gen cup cars on this track. That's pretty cool. Speaking of pretty cool right now, coming off turn number 2 at the moment here, the number 3, Brian McCann here, putting his Spartan Logistics Management LLC Chevrolet right into the fight with the 94 Troy Radford. Radford trying to hold the line down, trying to keep right ahead. Toughest part though about where he's running with the outside line especially is going to be the embankments and the control of the consistency he brings on there, as we got one driver spun right around there in the 82, Carson Conway, having some problems down there in turn 3. Ends up going to the infield lawn care service and opened up his own business down there. You know, I think they just literally cleaned those up this morning. I don't think you needed to worry about that, my friend. Nevertheless, though, right now, everyone look like they're going to test that drafting package here of the cars. I believe they are running on the 670 horsepower, so I believe they'll be able to slingshot them somewhat here. Oh, and I said slingshot them. I didn't say spin them. Easy, easy, no. Oh, no. Oh, man. And unfortunately, he didn't go alone. And Vincent Short can't catch a break here on the Holler Boys, number 15. Takes a huge hit, unfortunately, and a big smack dab right at Brandon Medford here. Can't quite tell if Brandon Medford got himself a little bit spun out there, or if he got a little help there. We'll see what happened with the PT Minutes to Replay. Brought to you tonight by 5-Star Graphics. No, that was definitely all him there. You saw him literally get loose. See him trying to save it, and he just kind of overshoots the turn, and gets himself in a major problem there. Take another look at it from another camera angle here. This is going to give you guys a better idea of just what it's like when you spin this car around. I mean, from that angle, it may look like the number 2 caught him, but I mean, from what we saw, we did not see any contact. That's how that happened. That's a bit of a tough break there for the number 83. A little bit dejected, a little bit sad, I bet you, right now. Not too happy about that here. First caution of the day out of 100 laps here. This will definitely be a little bit of a testament to these drivers and kind of a little more of a control stage here. Guys are going to have to be careful, and they're going to have to really watch themselves throughout this race, especially considering what they came off from the Los Angeles Coliseum, the clash at the race ranch clash, that is. They had a great battle there, but definitely a bit of a wild race there. And of course, if you want to guys take a look at that here, be sure to check that out on our YouTube end there at PTM Racing TV. And while you're at it, go ahead and leave us a subscribe there. We definitely appreciate it and all that. It helps us go a long way here and helps us go a lot further into the fields. So field already going in for a little pit strategy here. Looks like Chris Mefford will be in there. Troy Radford, Brian McCann staying on out. So is Neil Quick, Kyle Pengraff, and them. So it looks like their strategy is going to be pit early, so they can kind of have a little bit more tire, a little bit more push to go around for later. I'd say a lot of it also that's going to boil down to the strategy of fuel mileage. Fuel mileage definitely a crucial factor here. If drivers are not too careful, they can get a little bit too rambunctious, a little too crazy here, and that can give them a lot of trouble. One more time by, and then we'll get that green flag to fly back on out here. We'll get the lights turned off on the cars. Everyone trying to get settled up here and ready to go. This to me is going to be the biggest problem these drivers are going to face all day long. It's not a matter of, it's really not a matter of just trying to see who gets into who, when, or where. To me, it's a matter of who can control the narrative and stay out of trouble the fastest here. Because the problem is, again, you're going out there and you're trying to race with a bunch of hard drivers and some hard chargers. There's a lot of guys here that are going to be trying to push themselves to the limit and really pushing themselves further beyond the point of no return. And obviously they don't want nothing to do with that to begin with. They want to basically get themselves, they want to get into the run, they want to get into the show and really charge up as quick as they can and hopefully not find themselves in a bit of a bad spot or two. As we now have the pace car lights off on the track. I'd say more than anything though, if I would be looking towards actually throwing this thing in and around, I'd say probably the toughest part of the turns is going to be turn 2. Now I say that with this in mind. Yes, it is called the tunnel turn for a reason. It is a very tricky little spot there to kind of hit up and get through. But I would say the reason why I made my conclusion here is in that turn and in that situation, how do you handle and judge where you're going to pass out, where you're going to run off, especially when you saw Brandon Mefford. He went right into the turn and ended up overdriving the corner just way too much to get himself into a big pickle there. That's kind of where I'm really leaning towards, what I'm kind of figuring here. Hopefully though, these guys can keep themselves under control and they can find themselves a little bit of places to run other than just that one area. But generally, for the most part, I've seen folks try to pass in the tunnel turn. I've seen folks try to pass in turn 1. Turn 3 seems to be like the one area nobody seems to really garner to, but alright, y'all, we're ready to go racing yet again here. The drivers certainly are ready to go. Gonna try to pile these guys back up into position, put them on the fight, put them on the burner. Pace car off on turn number 3. Almost got me there with that Pocono. Oh, and a great flight back on out. Now charging right up the front. We'll get him out of the gate here as Brian McCann has the early lead. Troy Radford on the outside right now, dealing with Neil Quick, a reigning defending points leader here. He has been on an absolute tear this season. No one has been even able to come close to touching his points lead. And that may be for good reason. He may just be the guy that everyone's going to have to watch out for playoff time. As you hear the roar of these beasts coming alive down through the front corners here and on down. Through the set of turns. Uh-oh. Wally, hang on. Oh, no. We scramble, guys. Get out of there. Oh, my. Big wreck here off at the corner of the tunnel turn yet again. Turn number 2 claims more drivers. Carson Conway, Matt Cobb, Jeff Napier, Doug Wysocki. Oh, my goodness. And again, I just think this is going to be something we're going to notice all day long, is just how difficult it is to keep these cars online and stay out of trouble when we're supposed to, when we need to. I mean, as a driver, you never want to see this happen, but this is something you are very well aware it can very much happen indeed. Pengraph loose off of the turn. Then Wally gets loose, Pengraph couldn't save it, and then everyone's just in a cluster. They're trying to evade, trying to avoid. Aaron Smith gets clipped in there. Looks like he took some damage. Wally honestly taking kind of the minimal of damage, if you will, but same can't be said, unfortunately, for the number 14 Kyle Pengraph. We're going to go on board here with the onboard camera. You can see right here, entering in that turn number 2, he had a good run here, but then again, look how sharp he turned that thing in. And the car just was not having it. And then trying to steer off from it, well, that was easier said than done. Now, I did also say out there a couple of days ago and a couple of weeks ago, I said point blank that I still legitimately hate the steering, even though they updated everything and updated the package. I still felt like the steering was the biggest problem. Well, I have to kind of eat my own words now, because I found out recently that this is actually what the steering is supposed to feel like to NASCAR drivers. I asked them and they gave me the answer, and they said, well, point blank, yeah, it's pretty much a 1-to-1. It's pretty much supposed to be a 1-to-1 ratio, which obviously it's not, but for that in mind, it's very, very difficult to even drive this thing, much less even try to figure out how to run it. So I'm just going to keep that in the back of my pocket, in the back of my hands, because that's not changing anytime soon. And if I feel like it's too tough to drive, it's too tough to drive. There's nothing else to it. Troy Radford, Chris Medford, Kyle Pengraph, Chris Wally, David Trumley, Matt Kopp, Ray Radford, Doug Wysocki, Aaron Smith, Jeff Napier, all headed into pit road. And again, very early pit stops, to be honest with you. I would not have expected these drivers to do that kind of scenario, that kind of situation right out of the gate. I would have thought they'd have been a little more tensed up, a little more rampant on getting the runs when they could. But so far, no, that's not the case here. They are actually keeping it under control. That is pretty impressive, I will say that right now. We'll see if that continues on, though. There's still a lot of racing to be had. And again, stage breaks are going to be the big thing. I think these guys are really paying close attention to. They're going to be the big thing that keeps everyone in check and everyone in line. If they overdo or over-under this one, this could be easily a treacherous situation. We saw where many drivers from last season to this season had to kind of change their strategies up, had to change their game plans up, because of the fact that Pocono could either be a tire shredder or it could be a fuel shredder. Either way, it's tough to master and it's tough to tame. And now you have this car here that, to me, is honestly the most tough to tame. Well, you found yourself a recipe for a complete mayhem and race. Looks like Troy Radford going to decide to go into pit road as well again. So it looks like we'll get everyone filed back up in position. Double filed up as the yellow flag is high in the air. Drivers are ready to go here. So through the tall turn now, down to that final stretch before the turn 3. The guys all ready to wrap them back up, put them back. Zach on the attack here. Brian McCann here still trying to search for another season championship. He only got one to his name. That was 2 seasons ago. Looking to try to get that championship back though and put the crown on the top of his head. We'll see if he's able to do it. Back on the green flag restart zone. Everyone drives them down on in. 10 of 100 completed. Still got quite a ways to go. Much cleaner start this time on by. Drivers getting a much better runoff here. Everyone keeping it nice and clean here. And remember, drivers that had to go into pit road earlier on, they had to use up the instant repair. They had to not use any instant repairs. They only could use basically what they brought to the track and have to fix up on their own. It can be a bit dangerous, a bit hard here to really get settled up with. Brian Rose, number 89 here, got a little company behind him as a scratched up, beaten, banged up, number 70 of Aaron Smith. Trying to gain right up on him here, and again, trying to use every inch of that cornering and every inch of that spot there. Biggest thing with these cars, like I said, is just really you got so many different variables you're facing up against. You got the one lug nut, you got a car that is very loose, and it's very hard to master because that 670 low spoiler, small spoiler little track there, it's only a 4-inch spoiler on that thing. And then, of course, one of the biggest thing I feel is the biggest part, the biggest trouble to really fight around is those tires. If you've seen the tires there, you can see they're a little bit less radial and more control. They're a little bit more, almost kind of back and in, if you will. They're bigger tires, obviously, but they're at the same time they're very hard for me to really kind of describe and really take control of. Now, granted, that may just be me, and that may be the way they're supposed to drive, but to me, they're very challenging to really work around and get faster with. And again, these drivers, you know, they're working on the same kind of setup, pretty much kind of the same thing you would see in an SRX car. Then pretty much you're working with everything you got, and you're kind of just trying to hope that it all plays out in the end. But so far, everybody making some things work out when they can, trying to get things to go a little bit better when they got to. Jim Schofield right now, currently the onboard camera here on him as we watch David E. Brown, number 7, trying to make a little bit of a charge at him here. Seven of Brown now going down low. He says, hey boys, let's see where this one can go. Well, in turn 3, you better be careful about that one because that little spot right there will always trip you up a little bit, get you a little sideways zoned in. I believe that is the corner of Indy, if you will, the Indy 5 Indianapolis Motor Speedway. I believe that is the corner there. Chris Medford going up on the inside right now. Number 12 here, Tim Schofield. He's got a little bit of work to do with Kyle Pengraff, kind of trying to sneak his way back into the fray. Having a little bit of problems down there though, trying to keep himself out of hand and out of control. Driving on the track that broke ground in 1969, that opened up in 1971, of course. Here at Pocono International Raceway was one of its other nicknames that it had to its team. But obviously a bit of a different change, a little bit of pace here, as everything is kind of done simplified into Pocono Raceway. But it's definitely not simplified on how tough it is to master around here. This track is one for the faint of heart. It will bring out the absolute best, and it will bring out the absolute worst when it comes to working every ounce and every field of this track here. So just to confirm, actually, I said earlier that was the turn 3 was the Indianapolis Motor Speedway turn. That's actually the Milwaukee Mile because of a 6-degree of banking, and then the turn 2 was Indianapolis with the 8-degree, which is of course the tunnel turn, as we like to call it. And then finally the 14 degrees of Trenton Speedway, which is still a track I've actually never even heard of or ever seen, to be honest with you. I'm gonna have to do a little research on that one. But that's what that turn's based off. So this is the Trenton Speedway turn right here. And for how sharp and angular it can be, really, that's one thing I absolutely love and I kind of hate about this track, is that little turn right there. Speed gets everybody all worked out of shape and kind of worked up to really either make a move or really make a pass dive down in. It can either be your best friend or it could be your worst nightmare, depending if you get it done right. But long story short, it's 14, 8, and 6 degrees all on the 3 turns. Every turn meaning something different, every turn meaning a little bit more to the foundation of motorsports itself. It's a whole crazy dilemma and a whole crazy little world. And really, the history of this place is kind of tricky to explain. That's kind of also the reason why they call it the Tricky Triangle. It's just kind of got that Bermuda style, Bermuda Triangle feel to it. And Takaisaki has a little bit of problem down there. He's got problems down there in 34. And it looks like this is in turn 3. Yep, this is down turn number 3 here. Unfortunately for Wysocki, looks like he had some problems coming through the turn. Not sure entirely what had happened there. Well, this is have to peek to us to replay, see what happened here as the guys get a little bit squared around. Looked like it might have been entering into the turn a little too hot here. Maybe we got a little overshot into the distance. Easier said than done to really not do, and you can see you just cannot angle these things into a turn, man. You got to be very smooth and very consistent, and that's honestly kind of one of the biggest problems you struggle with, is again because that steering offset and the way it's set up. Unless you can actually dial it up to perch in a little bit more and actually stay straighter and more relaxed, it's very, very difficult to catch that slide. And even on colder tires, that's even worse. So. You know, somehow not surprised. You can see right here, once that rear end slid out from underneath them, and there's nothing you can do. Once that happens right there, you just either going for the ride or you're just hoping for the best. I haven't really been able to see anyone save that car as much as anything else. I think it's been kind of a challenge even for them to figure out. Well, 17 laps to 100 in right now. Drivers continuing to pace themselves on by, get everything kind of wrapped back around. Get them back sack and put them back on the attack here. Cody Arger in the number 66 right now, currently in a bit of a heated scuffle, a little points battle here. Of course, trying to make it in to the championship rounds here. Of course, round of 16 coming up ever so slightly here. The drivers definitely been pacing themselves around, getting ready to go for that when the time comes. But for now, anyway, Chris Waller will be the only driver who stays on out. He'll take the lead away from the boys, but will that last long? Well, we'll find out when we come back here on Beats Racing TV. Tonight's race, ladies and gentlemen, brought to you in part by our good friends over at Spartan Logistics Management LLC. by R&R Racewear, the official web store for everything iRacing as well as the IROC Series. By Loud Pedal Gaming TV, we're smashing the loud pedal for your viewing entertainment. By SimSpeedShop.com. And by Track Time Entertainment. And then finally, 5-star graphics. A big thank you from all the folks over at the IROC Challenge Series as well as us here on the PTM Racing TV side. Thanks for your support and dedication you brought to the drivers and the league. Well, right now at the moment anyway, as guys come off pit road and kind of get clamored in here. Brian McCann again obviously is going to lose his spot to Chris Wally here. Wally currently moving Shane's up as quick as he needs to and holding off for doing what he can. I'm trying to avoid talking too much about him though, because I know every time I talk something good or I really get into it with him, he ends up having something happen and something will go completely wrong down there, and I don't want none of that to happen this time. So we'll cut them around town, bring it back on by here, and let everyone just kind of figure out what they want to do and how they want to handle it here. Just so many dangerous little areas, so many little kind of quinks and quirks to really be careful of, while at the same time really driving their tails off and really hoping for the best. Constantly evolving, constantly just working out all the kinks, working out every little piece of these cars again. And I will say this: if you do adjust that, I did say back when I was talking about how tough the steering was in these things, you can adjust it to where you can actually have a little bit more force feedback in there, and it will actually get quite a little more literal. So, and it does kind of hang in there a little bit better. I think at the end of the day what it boils down to is how well can you hold a line down and how well can you keep your car in check and keep it in place, especially with the way these cars like to just kind of run off from you. I've had that happen more often than not, if you can believe it. I drove it down here at Pocono earlier, and once again I had troubles keeping my car in steady control. Actually, I had more troubles down in turn 1 though than turn 2 and 3. That's where my troubles were. For some reason when I was running down turn 3, it just seemed like the car would not hesitate to literally spin right around and just not even care anymore. It was very difficult to master, and it was very difficult to really kind of get used to and get out of your mind thinking, well, if it spins, I can save it. No, these things you cannot save it. They would not go. And the green flag flies back on out. We are back underway though. Drivers moving hard through the charge here. Everybody looking for positions as they gain it in. Chris Wally going up top side right now, trying to stay out of the way of Brian McCann here as the guys go right up into the fray, from the fry pan into the fire. Double filed up here, battle for second, maybe battle for the race lead here. We're not quite sure. Driver's going to have to slow down just enough to make the turn there. Chris Wally made a great turn. Troy Radford, much of the same. Everybody playing their even footing, their even keels here. And again, they kind of have to here too, because they're going to work off of basically an untested, unproven car. And also having to deal with the track that, frankly, that's giving more headaches than I think most Indy drivers can get from in general here. Then again, that might be a different time for a different story with the USAC crew. Coming right around down through the next set of turns to the next set of corners here. Everybody just wheeling and dealing. That was one thing I was kind of wondering about, was if, you know, if they were starting to get a little bit closed up, a little packed up, with some drivers kind of back off, or they use their brakes to kind of get out of the way here, and it looks like that is the answer is yes so far anyway. As we continue to watch these guys just duke it out a little bit, Neil Quick kind of sneak his way right at the 5 here. Chris Wally trying to be a little bit of a burden to him and just trying to keep himself within the playing field and in the range and stay out of trouble. I know it's definitely a lot easier said than done, but at the same time, man, if you can get it done, you can get it done. It doesn't matter what else you can do with it. Cody Harger coming to a dead stall here. We got a problem down there for him and his crew, number 66, as the yellow flag is out. Take a look at the PT Mr. replay. I didn't even realize there was a wreck out there for Cody until literally we just got kind of word of it from the producers. They're gonna look at it. I'm telling you right now, folks, that turn 2 is not the place to be right now. Go up high, it's going to send you straight in the wall. Go too low, sends you straight to the wall. Stay in the middle. Well, you best hope you can run a little bit harder than that, because eventually they will catch you and they will get you off your tail. That's tough right there for Harger. It looks like he has called it a day as well, so his championship hopes are still in contention. He'll be alright there, but I almost guarantee you the other drivers that are fighting for position, jockeying for everything they got, and hoping to pray for some kind of miracle. Well, they may have some work to do, but I think they will definitely get to it. So right now, looks like we're going to get them double file back up this next time around. Quite a few laps to go around the track here, and again, not really a bad thing, but definitely kind of makes you think that these drivers want to really make a charge, make a run for it here. Brian McCann here, still searching for yet another championship, searching for another race win. He's been red hot all starting off the season here, but he's only been second place to Neil Quick more often than not. Kevin has been hoping and praying he can really bring it all down and bring it on the fight. So one more time around the corners here, and then everyone gets double file back up for the restart zone. Field just kind of pacing their way off here. Kyle Pengraff getting his lap back. Doug Wysocki still currently dealing with a little bit of things or two in pit road. Paul Beazle, who got goozled there on that start there, and now back out on the field as well. One thing I absolutely love about this team and about this group is that these drivers just do not care about giving in. They will not give an inch. They will keep on trucking. They will keep on battling if it means to succeed. And that's right there is exactly what we definitely need there. So pace lights are off on the pace car now. Drivers ready to reel them back in. Get this one fielded back into play here. I think the biggest thing right now for these drivers is just watch yourselves, watch the tempo, stay on alert, stay in full control of your car. Do not let anything get ahead of you. Do not let anything go too far away from you. So the time has come, positions made, increase, and ready to firm up yet again. As we're looking to reel these guys back on down to the track, back on the run off zone. And again, turn 3 may be a little bit of a pesky turn, but turn number 1 is going to be where everyone just shoots these things on by and hopes for the best here. Looking to rock them down off of turn number 4 this time on by. See the pace car will come off this time. As we await the command of the green flag restart zone, we got the command. We're off and running yet again. And right off the gun and off the bubble here, Brett. You can see right there, Brandon Medford just continuously struggling to get his laps back, his time back. Even Doug Wysocki gave him a little bit of a heartache there coming through the first set of corners. I think a little bit of that had to do with just kind of the old mind games here to kind of really make sure that he's making everyone well aware that he's still in this hunt, still in this fight. Doesn't matter if you're dead last, you can end up getting a first here eventually. These bigger tracks definitely make it a very much more racy feel, much more background based there than anything. "75 laps now left to go here at Long Pond, Pennsylvania. Here, drivers now continually getting right in there, that area, that wall protection, but they're not touching it whatsoever from our angle, nor your angle. You do not see it. They are coming extremely close, but that's really to help bolster and build up speed, rather than having to drive down low and then hopefully find a way to slide job them up or really cross them over. As Aaron Smith's about to do right now, coming off turn number 2. Turn number 1, excuse me. Kind of just landed himself right into the fight, right into the fray here. On board right now with Cook Quick here as he continues to make his campaign presence felt. Has not been the quicker of the brothers by his last name and all that fun stuff. He's actually been pretty tight and close compact here in the points race and the points get compared to the other seasons. Last season's there was pretty much just a landslide on who was going to make it in there. This time around, not the same case here. Field just kind of stretched back in and around. Ryan McCann, Troy Radford going out here right now, top speeds here at the moment. Well, they're whopping a seriously beautiful 54s, 53s, and the fast, I believe, we got a 50-second lap here. So we know we're cutting some time off on these guys just from doing this here. Onboard camera here, Brian McCann continuously tries to knock down the little prince, if you will, of chaos, a little strength in the numbers here. Because McCann is up right in the fight, right in the fray. Radford trying to hold his line down though. Trying to get him off the draft, trying to get him pushed more up top side here. That's a smart move there by the number 94, but he's got to watch it here. Right now, Troy Radford, as mentioned before, still with the race lead. Really kind of got that back from that last pit stop there, and kind of his strategy kind of coming into play. Ryan McCann getting a little bit of a workaround, a little bit of a fight here with Neil Quick. As Quick now looking to try and keep mastering the lead. This is your battle between the first and second place points drivers right now. And again, really the points may not matter as much when we get to the playoff side of things, but to these drivers, points mean everything right now because they know cutoff lines are coming up, and they're coming up very, very fast. If I was any of them drivers right now, my first thought is pretty simple. Just stay focused on the line, stay focused on the track, forget about everyone else, and forget about this cars, man. Just drive them normally and drive them a little bit easier to kind of let the cars settle down. That's what the crew chief down there for David Tremblay has spoken of. And obviously right now here, that Chevrolet still holding himself up pretty nicely, only 11th right at the gate. Could possibly top 8 to top 5 material with a little bit more work and a little bit more practice, I would say. But I'd say nevertheless, Tremblay, he's always definitely been there. He's always been kind of in that showboat moves. He can definitely put the fight and the running on the button on this one. Moving it down right now, David E. Brown here, continuing to just kind of stick his nose right where he feels like he can get it to. Speaking of noses here, you can see the distance here right now between him and Paul Buzel. That's over a 3.5 second gap between those two. And a lot of that had to do with the fact that really Buzel was not doing anything too smart, too clever. He just kind of played a bigger hand here and a better run. But that's not to say that Buzel cannot catch up in this case or really get B caught up, because he's always looking to try to fight his way through the ranks, through the field here. This Medford right now trying to keep the MF for number 46 up ahead and into the charge here. As you see, Chris Wally still not giving him any room or any breathing time here for this one. It's all about pacing and controlling themselves on the track and really keeping their corners alive. That's exactly what you're seeing right now as they continue to fight down there off the turns of turn 2 to the back straightaway, down into turn number 3. This time on by here, we'll see how well the car held up and how he held up in there. Well, looks like everything's okay on the first lap anyway. Looked like a little bit of damage still had to get cleaned up, a little bit more work to do, but other than that, it does not look clear there was any trouble there for him. Yeah, Quick now, by the way, just taking over the race lead from the number 94, Troy Radford. A bit of a shocker, if you ask me, and a bit of a stunner to be in. Well, let's take a look at this one. It's hard to kind of catch here what all changed or what all kind of got traffic kind of switch way around and kind of taken into a different perspective. All I can say is, though, is that it looked like a pretty wild little move here. Let's take a look at it. That's what the move that helped give the race lead away. You see the 5 going up top, the 3 going up top side. And then look behind him here, you got a whole mounting charge of females and just one bus coming up for him. Kind of ready to rock and roll and just bring them on down back to Florida or back to Georgia, wherever they go here. Caution flag is out as well here, folks. A little bit of trouble down there for Aaron Smith, it looks like. Let's take a look at the PCMS replay here. We'll see what transpired exactly. Looks like everyone kind of got a little bit all tip-topped and out of shape here. Sorry for the broadcast having to go to the P-Series TV again here, but we couldn't quite catch it when we were running around watching the drivers battle it out here. Let's take a look at the number 70 here, or excuse me, the number 1, if you will, of Aaron Smith. And it looks like the tunnel turn yet again claims its next victim, or does it? No, it didn't in this case. Actually able to save it coming off that corner. It's pretty impressive there to say the least, but this is where everything got kind of lopsided. Sprout right around, spun it down in there, and opens up his own lawn care service as he continues to just fight the old demons down there, unfortunately, in that number 70 today. Tough break there for the number 70, of course, here of Aaron Smith here. Sorry for the little glitch graphic gremlins pop up there. They pop up from time to time, you know, they can't always just be not hidden. So now it really kind of becomes more of a situation to driving a little bit smoother, a little bit more under the pace and under control than really having to go too crazy down there. I'm not really sure how to really feel about that because again, with these big tracks, you really want to drive these things wide open, give them a little bit of breathing room here and there, but just kind of get things a little crazier down on the track side, let the racing kind of dictate itself. Well, so far anyway, hasn't quite got that yet here. Just about halfway done with this one here. Still drivers looking to take full advantage, to take full aim. So the field will work themselves on back on in, work them on in here a little bit, get it kind of cleared up down around the track here, get the dust kicked off, get the scrapes, bruises, and all the sheet metal and fiberglass taken off on the track so that way drivers aren't throwing them around like a bunch of little frisbee tools, if you will, here. Bob Izzo right now, number 9, continuing to just kind of take aim, take charge. Kyle Pengraff even now making a bit of a runoff down here in the field. Aaron Smith, despite the caution he had to get thrown there, actually got thrown a bone. He's actually currently up ahead in 6th spot. Now, I'm not one for experts, but I can guarantee you I would not want to be the Tracer's deal there, unfortunately, because I feel like that Black Widow might have a better chance at this here. We'll certainly have to see, though. As we get the guys and gals all wrapped up, ready to throw them back down, stretch back on the attack. For those that are tuned in right now with us here on Peace Race TV Facebook Live, first off, thank you so much for tuning in, and hope you'll enjoy the coverage here down on the YouTube side of things after the race here as well. If you guys do want to support us, like and follow us up your Facebook, but also head to our YouTube especially and subscribe there so you never miss a beat, never miss a show. We will always have a race. When the broadcast comes up from Friday from Facebook Live, we will always have a video coming right up, or it may be vice versa. We may have a little bit of a battle going on down in the Dirt Stock Series, so they called us up for a race, and then obviously go down into Vidane TV and they say otherwise there, so you know what, at the end of the day, I feel like we're just going to have to kind of keep a closer eye on those things here. All about consistency and controlling the narrative of this track. We'll let them rattle them off, let them rattle them back on in, and give them something to think about here. We still have literally just a few more laps left in the half before we get to the 100 laps fight here. Coming down the ends here, down to the green flag. Charge them hard, charge them up for the restart. Everybody watching and wave as they go by. Coming right down on that front straightaway here. Every driver for themselves, no one giving an inch here. Kind of working right off the corners here. Neil Quick trying to hold down the far. No, 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 no. Trouble right off of turn number 2 here. Number 5, Chris Wally, and the 89 of Brian Rose crashing out. Looks like 54 Cook Quick also collided in, and yet again, trouble just never seems to stop a brewing here on PT Race TV, and it caught them there, unfortunately. Looked like the 5 got kind of spun around there, had really nowhere to go in this case here, and got himself in a bad spot. Take a look at it from another angle here, and yeah, he kind of got right in there with the number 94 of Radford. Wasn't much he could do. He was already spinning. Looks like the 89 was already spinning on his own, left him alone. But then as they were starting to re-fire him up, yep, you can see, well, I just really had nothing he could do about it. Came off a lot slower than everybody else, so hopefully the ignition and the transmitter are not damaged up by any means in that car. So they'd be a bit of a handful to kind of work back around from, and you have to kind of keep up with. So race fans, while we're go ahead and wait for this one here, we're going to go ahead and take a look at our points list tonight. After race number 10 here, things definitely got shook up, and maybe for the right and better wrong reasons. It's been absolute chaos and pandemonium wherever we win and wherever we go, and we are not going to quit out here on PT Race TV anytime soon. I made you that promise a long, long time ago. I have stuck to my word, and I will stick to my word. Yeah, I know all the people that are behind this show and behind this stuff will definitely do much of the same, to say the least. So right now, looking at the points race-wise, though, Neil Quick still completely harvesting and charging up. Meanwhile, some shockers here: Kevin McCann, Brandon Mefford, as well as a few other guys here like Brian, Jesse B. King, Ryan Reich, not anywhere near even thinking of really smelling the chance to go towards the playoff end here. Playoff end game could be the best narrative for them. It could also be their worst nightmare come to life, depending on how you look at it. So, 6th caution of the day. Kind of crazy to think here, but yes, that is our 6th of the day so far. Everybody ready to lock it back up, though, ready to get fired down. As you see, the pace car's lights still on, though. Drivers have to kind of obey the pace car and the control. And I'll say right now, man, I know these cars are now completely almost one and done on their 1-to-1 ratio and all that, but still, can we find a way to get these things to catch the slide just a little bit easier? To me, it's almost impossible on a fresh set of tires, or a cold set, as we like to call it here in pizza on the iRacing world thing, is that it's just cold tires. It's impossible to hold the line. It's impossible to keep these things under control, and they can be a bit of a handful and a bit of a stretch down here. We're gonna have to see if that is the case here in just a little bit, though. So right through the set of 3 corners here, everyone now ready to line it back up in a position, ready to get it fired up yet again. This could be a bit of a longer race here, a longer set for these drivers. Also trying to get those points, those much needed points to get into the playoff championship hope and hunt. So difficult to do and not easy to tame by any means. It just gives everyone a fair shake and a bit of a fair run to fight it off, see what happens. Well, Cookwick right now, the number 54, going to pile on the outside with Chris Mefford there running him down. Neil Quick, David Tremblay also in that hunt and go. David E. Brown, Brian McCann. Got to watch out for those 2 cats. They will give you something to think about here. bit of a kind of a cat, because honestly they're a bit of a pest to my they're a little bit of a pest to my dog instincts here, man. They're just ready to. I think may have a little cat scratch fever down here in old Pocono. All right, I'll stop on that one. Let's get them riled up, rally up yet again, and get the tires warmed up, get the engines roaring up a little bit more, keep everything nice and subtle and under control. Coming down through corner number 3 now at last. Drivers have hit their mark. They've hit their time. Now the position comes into play. As we're going to go one more time by. They are not saying we're quite good just yet. They want to go another full distance around the track here. I guess I can't blame them too much there. I mean, as a driver, though, I mean, the anticipation here really kind of kills me and irks me inside, because all I'm thinking to myself is, man, I just want to get this one going. I want to start firing off these things as hard as I can and hope for the best. Not a whole lot really to say other than just kind of watching the cars go pacing by here. Just hopefully we can see some good action, some good clean fights here, and some good moments in between. Again, we have another broadcast coming up tomorrow night, of course. Here at Backfire Sim Racing, we'll be back on the show, and we'll have another little chance to see what the next gen Cup cars can bring down there. Of course, though, here today. So far, I mean, you can say what you want about the Pocono track, and you can say what you want about these cars or the drivers. I mean, for the most part, though, I'll say this at least. They're at least able to have some room. They're at least able to have some comfort and get some idea of what they can do with these cars. I really honestly think just a couple tweaks in the setup, a little bit more of a fix-up, might actually be all these cars really need to get much better and much more under control. Because the biggest problem, again, is just they are way too out of control, in my opinion. The steering is just completely different. The tires are different. The car itself, obviously, is a very awesome-looking ride, but it even has its own little different kind of control system, kind of control base here, especially with those spoilers and the way the setup is down and in. You really kind of gotta test yourself and patient yourself to understand our sport and really kind of understand like what they're about to do here, as we're down to only 60 laps remaining at Pocono. Marching their way around right now. Chris Medford is your race leader here as number 2, and Neil Quick is currently following right behind him. Neil's not going to try to miss more than once here. He's going to try to get that draft going here and get some build up on speed, get some build up on run and momentum. As the whole field just kind of clambers down through. Brian McCann, David E. Brown here in a little bit of a tussle, a little bit of a fight out there. Both drivers getting really close though. Maybe a little bit closer for my comfort here, a little bit of my blood. But hey, man, at the end of the day, they held the line down, though. But they have definitely opened the door up quite a bit, because here comes back to the field Troy Radford and then David Tremblay. You just can never count those guys out, because they'll always find a way around you and get a race, build some momentum. They're doing just that here and then now. Radford firing on towards Pengraff. Pengraff though not letting him have an inch. No way, Jose, my friends. He doesn't want anyone to give him a fair. He doesn't want to get a fair shake. He wants a tough race. He wants a tough battle. That's kind of his wheelhouse here. He's doing quite the listening, quite the learning from it. And even now, Neil Quick has taken the race lead over the Monster Energy number 2. Or Neil, excuse Monster Energy. I'm losing it tonight. No, I meant Neil Quick in number 2 tonight. That's SimSpeedShop.com, Spartan Logistics Management LLC car tonight. I don't even know what the heck I said in the broadcast there. I do apologize in advance. Been a long day. I completely just kind of spaced out there for a second. Not turning into a Sleepy Joe over here, although you probably would have thought I'm a Sloppy Joe for the way I'm calling this one tonight. But Neil O'Neill right now looking to try to take that lead back over again. You can see him just moving through the chains, kind of keeping Mefford at bay, keeping him straight in and honest. It's hard to make a pass on the outside here, but again, Mefford, he's going to try to find a way, of course. He's not exactly one to just give out like that. He'll find a way, and here's the way. Crossover down from the turn court. That open face turn and little kind of little corner off there gives just enough run. Now it is time for the number 2 to fall back while the number 46 and the number 2 go at it or 3, excuse me, go at it a little bit. Quick kind of going right back up there with family member Neil, looking to try to help out the family, trying to help out the Jewels here. Ryan Rose right now, the number 89, trying to keep up with the distance, keep up with the control here. As Paul Buzel, Troy Radford, and Kyle Pengraff are both the 2 front runners leading up for their division. That's one thing, though, I will say right now, is being in their own little spot, their own little world here, definitely can help make things a little bit more interesting, a little bit more difficult to kind of figure out. Unfortunately, though, for Rose, him being on his own here without the help of Vincent Short here, his teammate, definitely I feel kind of really tampered with his mindset, tampered with the strategy him and the crew had in mind there. Troy Radford currently holding down the field, holding down the pack here as everybody else except for Neil Quick, Ryan McCann, and Chris Mefford have kind of left the window and left the door here wide open for anyone to really make a move or two off the doom. Go on board here right now with number 40 here as he continues to try to jive it in at Doug Wysocki. Didn't want to affect too much of the racing, he said today earlier, but he has no problems or no qualms about going to go out there and trying to put on a little fight here for himself and his team and his crew, while showing his family that he's still got it down there. Well, he may have used to race super late models, but man, he certainly knows how to control these cars up today. Leading towards that halfway point right now, I guarantee you that stage caution is coming up ever so closer here. And again, a lot of drivers, man, they came out here, they were trying to hopefully stay out of the fallback zone. We saw last week here where drivers got a little too aggressive at times, a little bit too all over the place, and especially considering it was a new setup, new everything. That's understandable, but now today, well, understandable is kind of an apt statement. You best know that you've got this thing ready to go and ready to charge up for everything it is. Brian McCann right now holding the line down on the bottom lane with the 46 of Chris Mefford trying to make a move off or two. The big move with Doom though coming from number 2 Neil Quick. Not a bad pass, but a very clean looking straight in turn off on turn 1. Now leaning back to turn 2. This is how you do it down at Pocono. Making everybody literally just a little bit questionable and a little bit more on the nose when it comes to holding the line down. Feel kind of slow down just a little bit here on the battles and on the wars ahead. Tim Schofield and David Tremblay is pretty much the only closest ones right now, about 7/10 of a second, if you can believe that. David Tremblay here, Tom Schofield, Brian Rose, they're all kind of was formed into that nice little packed draft. Now they've completely gone the opposite way, haven't they? And indeed they do. Whoa, looks like trouble down there for Paul Buzel though, number 9. Car comes to a rest here on turn number 1. Damage though has been done. Ultimate question though is how bad was it done up? We'll take a look at the PT Mr. Replay yet again here and see what happened and transpired to get into that problematic here. Michael Fraz Rose come pulling for the number 89 tonight. Michael, glad to have you on board today. Look like he just overdrove it off turn number 2. The tunnel turned just a slight bit. And once she was already God, she was already God. That's definitely a tough break there, unfortunately, for Paul. Definitely not what he wanted to see, not in any way, shape, or form what he was hoping for here. Take a look at the replay once again. You can see right here just that little small fine print of error there. You just cannot oversteer. You cannot understeer this car. You've got to lay it thin and lay it perfectly, and hopefully everything else just works out in your favor if you get that chance. There's a lot of drivers out here though. Paul Buzel's called it today. He's done. We lost Vincent Short still out there, but he's really kind of taking his time getting that car fixed up, trying to fix everything a bit of it, and deal with the lasting impact there. Chris Wally and Aaron Smith. Well, Wally's still here. Aaron Smith, Brandon Mill, Brandon Befford, Cody Harger, Carson Conway, Brian Reich. All out. All but done and out of all things, man. It's crazy to say the least. Some of those names in there, I wouldn't even have thought even to begin with trying to say that they have been kind of taken out of this position. But that is kind of the chaotic world of racing, my friends. You just never know what's going to happen or what's going to go down. And we're going to taste that and then some here at this very, very moment. So Ray Radford going into pit road. Everybody else is going to head into pits. We'll take a little bit of fuel in line here. Fuel and gas. And then take the tires right at, and get the tires right on that as well. Switching out the tires right now. Looks like Troy Radford going to just barely beat out Kyle Pengraff. Brian McCann and Chris Medford will be the top 2. Third will go to Kyle Pengraff, Troy Rodman, and then we'll have, of course, Tim Schofield on the outside of the 3rd row as he piles up to number 5. And that is our level layout look and our level field playing advantage here down at Pocono. I think at this point he's just trying to keep himself at least in one check in one place here. Brian McCann right now will be the race leader, still continuing on with his ways and his dominance here in the number 3, as currently I believe we're just finishing up this caution break here. The second stage will be pretty much a bit of the same for the caution wise, just kind of let them loose and let them thin and let them hit it. Everyone just kind of figuring everything out right now. Maybe just settling back down as they got to go one more 50 lap counter here at Pocono Raceway. It's going to be a bit of a longer race here. Not quite as long, obviously, as we saw with, what was it, Daytona? Was it Daytona or Talladega? I think it was Talladega now. That was certainly something back then. Definitely a bit of a change in the world today, as you can see. live back again. Yeah, here we are once more at Pocono. Let's get back down to business. I'll fire them off down that front straightaway once again. Everybody looking in, looking around, looking for some openings to gain them on by. Definitely going to be a bit of a challenge here for these drivers to really sight and strong shoot and strong arm when they can. A lot of guys obviously trying to get that giraffe line to work as quick as possible and trying to push up with much as they can do here. Of course, Chris Mefford trying to do the same there. Whoa, but he got a little too aggressive. He's already spinning it off that try on the tunnel turn. It gets the piece of Engraph yet again, and that might have done both of them in today. This track is literally picking off drivers one by one. This track is picking drivers off one by one and one at a time. This is, oh man, oh man, oh man. 8th caution of the day, and this is not looking good at all for any of the guys up front. Doesn't matter who you are, everyone is struggling just to hold on for dear life here. Another look at it. You can see right here, Medford. The problem is, again, he just overdone the turn. Just kind of got it a little too steered off. He tries to save it. Pengraph tries to avoid it, but I think even he knew his goose was kind of cooked as soon as he kind of came through that turn and realized where the other driver was at. That's definitely a bit of a sad day, sad feeling as well, knowing working so hard, working so well in that position and keeping up the distance, keeping up the change at times. And then right here, just this one little slip up. Usually to most drivers, you would be able to save it with some of their cars, would be able to kind of work around it, not these next gen Cup cars. The natural reactions kind of go out the way of the dodo bird, and just trying to hold the line out is really easier said than done. So 8th caution of the day so far here. Field will work their way back on around town as we get to take a look at our Chevy manufacturers tonight for these IROC cars. Of course, for the way these NASCAR drivers have set these things up and the way they've set and the way NASCAR themselves have set up the car, it pretty much is now kind of set more towards that restrictor plate kind of half median that I think fans really want, kind of will get as well. How well they will drive come at the Coliseum, though, is a different story, as we've seen the good, the bad, and probably the downright ugly on a few of these things. But to me, more than anything, I think it's more good than it has been bad. I think it's just been kind of watching themselves and watching their corners here. Kind of stretch back in right now. Cook Quick, actually, the number 54, will be kind of taking over position here with Neil Quick, his family member, right behind him. Tim Schofield, David E. Brown, David Tremblay, Brian Rose, Doug Wysocki, Troy Radford, and Matt Kopp, rounding out your top 10. So you'll probably see a few names in here you probably usually don't see too often. Kind of start to kind of trickle their way up to the front. Although I will say this might be the first time we ever see all the drivers get into some kind of little spinner, little kind of wreck out here. And then, honestly, if that does kind of happen, I'm not saying that's going to be intentional or it's going to happen, but I'm saying this could very well happen because, honestly, we've already lost 10 of the drivers out of the 22. And there's still either many of them that are going to pit road, so I don't know. I mean, if I'm a driver and I can somehow stay out when everyone else kind of wrecked out and got a chance, then I'd go for broken take of the points and go with that. I wouldn't even worry about trying to wait for everyone else to come out and race it out. Well, on the matter of control and consistency here, we're going to see what all lays down and what everyone's thinking here at the moment. Double file back up from restart zone yet again. Another 45 laps left to be had. And these next gen cup cars, man, they're just still seemingly giving these guys more trouble than it's worth, or maybe making it a little bit more trickier, if you will, down on the track. So who knows? Double filed up yet again. Drivers looking to just kind of keep their cool, keep their anxiety down, keep the levels up and the blood rushing. It's a lot of work and it's a lot that goes on, but if you know how to do it just right, you'll get some major bonus points and some major simplifications here on yourself as well as your crew. We've got stage 1 in the books right now. We need to get stage 2 up into the books and then get that final stage kind of cleared out. So here we go, off of corner number 4 this time on by. Put the pace car down off on the track here. Let these drivers sell this one up like they used to do back way in the day. Here we go, back on the green flag start. And things could get very, very interesting here. Kind of moving through right now. Brian McCann getting a jump off on Cook quick here, staying farther ahead of him in this case. Kind of pulling through a little bit more, working around the inside. You can see a little bit of a charge there coming from Radford up on David E. Brown. I don't think Radford's too worried about having to fight off with these drivers, really fight off certain positions for certain folks, but I almost guarantee you that if they can find that slight bit grip, that slight little gap, a little grip, and a little more grip to use up, I believe, and more in my heart, these drivers will literally not hesitate to just put a full throttle through straight to the metal in that thing. Right off of turn number 1 here, drivers will line them back down. That blistering speed they're carrying, the blistering horsepower, these things will lay off on there. On board here, Brian Rose, as he continues to mark his campaign. Here he's up 5 spots at the moment. Jeff Napier, the only driver that's up 20 from 21st to right at the moment 40th. That is pretty impressive to say the least here. They're still able to kind of rock that kind of body, kind of rock that kind of stuffing on him. Takes a lot of work, I'll say that much. I've been in the gym a lot more as of late. I'm still having troubles kind of keeping my weight fluctuations down all the way. I'm actually starting to build and tone that muscle up. It's easier said than done, I will say, and it's easier said than done to try to drive these race cars any time of the day and twice on Sunday, because again, it's just more of a style that likes to run kind of on your own, but just to kind of see what you can do with trying to trolling people. That's kind of the way it comes off to me here. We're going to work them around town here yet again down turn number 3 here. It looks like a little bit of work around, and Neil Quick finally found some speed, finally found some momentum. Looking to charge it down. Looks like it was about a wheel length there that separated those two from the finish. But in this case, Neil was able to get just enough ahead. Putting it right in the McDavie of all battles here. Staying in the line, staying in the chute, staying in for the run. Oh, sounds like a little bit of fenders being put down on the track and being put up to the field. Not giving an inch just yet here. Neil knows that if he can just save the tires up a little longer in that next win, he will be able to get his wish. So far, so good. Still clean and speed, and that's exactly what we want to see. Quick starting to get a further enough lead away from the rest of the field here. As right now, they're at 34, Doug Wysocki. I mean, here's a guy who got pretty much just found himself in a bit of a bad rut, a bit of a bad spot. He just cannot, for the life of him, get a true, proper win procedure in a bit of a winner's game here. That's like the only thing I can say right now is he just needs to kind of catch a break, really gives himself a little bit more of a shake here too. And I think he will be able to really bring it out on the track and really bring it out with the best of them. Matt Oppenheimer, one of those guys, man, he comes in time and time again. Have not seen him with the race win, but the good news is obviously there's still plenty of time, plenty of room here, and plenty of space here to work things out. Just gotta stay focused here as Quick has to go into the infield line, care south for a bit, and maybe trying to cool his tires off slightly here, but I don't know if that's really gonna do him any good. Especially not the way these things like to run sometimes. Pace lights are popping off on the pace car now. Where they are anyway. They're pop. I swear, guys, I must be losing tonight. I don't know what's going on. I saw the pace car a minute ago. I thought, wait a minute, we're under caution. Like, wait a minute, we're going green. We're already green. Maybe it's just one of those nights where it's so late and so time consuming. Maybe it's just one of those days. Tim Schofield now moving through turns 3, currently hanging on with Quick right behind him. Quick trying to give him some run, trying to give him some field down. D9 and Brian Rose also pushing and shoving up to the run, looking for an area to catch up from it. Trying to hold down the field, trying to hold down the floor, and hold down the fort of the front. That is this. Quick right now knows he's got to remain on cue. Cannot let one pit stop, cannot let one little slice of error cost him from holding on. AXT Schofield yet again getting really loose there off the tunnel turn. Unfortunately, number 12. That'll slow him down a little bit and really give an opening here. That McDonald style branded number 96 here, David Tremblay. Well, you can hear that roar, you can hear that motor being put to life, and how well he's hanging in with this corner here and with this kind of car. Turn 1 though has been kind of his downfall as of late, and now that's not the case here. Ryan Rose right now currently got a bit of a fan base going on down here. He's currently also about 7 spots up in the field. Started back 12th. He's currently moving up into the 5th place round. He's doing a pretty good job right now, keeping himself in check, keeping himself out of trouble. And I'd say more than anything, that's kind of the hard part about all this, is just trying to make sure you stay without trouble and stay more towards keeping it in control and in with the race flow, if you will. Give you guys a little bit of an outlook and an ideal spot here to see just what that 94 Troy Radford is seeing and what he's feeling out on the track. Obviously knows there's quite a bit really to march around with, to kind of deal with. Whoa! And the 89, Brian Rose really sticking that front bumper right into that 54. Cook quick, getting him a little bit too sidewindish there. Could have been a dangerous little spot to be put into, a bit of a dangerous spot to really run off from. Thankfully, everybody came out okay and did not get into any serious major damage here. Still, that is certainly something you've got to watch it from. You just can't let this pace dictate off from you. You can't let the track kind of take it away from you here. Again, it's a tricky triangle. This free 3 corners, set turns, 3 areas of play. It gets very, very difficult from so many levels and so many angles to really just stay out of the way and really stay out of the problematic zones. Again, though, the way how technique and prestige kind of comes in with these guys and how they come through the field, is there really any surprise how well they've been able to do so far tonight? Brian Rose trying to catch Cook quick here. Cook right now holding down the fort, holding down the field, but you can see he hasn't fully transpired here yet. Fall back in line, fall back in the track here right now. Lap 67, huge gain yet again here for Quick as Rose continues to slow down just a little bit from the field, kind of slow down a little bit from the run. It's hard to get a good run off here on the track, especially when your car is damaged up and looking beaten and battered here as bad as some of these guys do. And I got no means, this really doesn't mean anything about trying to hold these cars on track and hold them on place here. It really just kind of evolves around just hoping for the best, hoping these things at least are going to be at least in one piece by the time you're done over with today. And Trembly may not have it in one piece all the way yet. Almost taking it straight out of turn 2 and out into the wall protection again. He did smack the wall coming around, but thankfully stayed out of complete trouble here. Chris Wally actually is now left out of pit road, so he's back out on the track. He's not going to be anywhere near the lead lap, though, that's for sure. His damage is so severe, he had to clean that thing up and pretty much get ready to go for the next set of rounds. Next round of races here as drivers continue to work their way through this one. And I got a battle between right now Troy Radford and Brian McCann here for second place. Bit of a surprise here that these guys are going to go for a runoff as fast as they've been working with, as much as they've been doing. I think it all kind of boils down to what they can strategize. As you see one of them going straight into the wall protection there. I think that might have been the 47 of Ray Radford. And ends up crashed down right out of turn number 3 there. That was a huge wreck to say the least here. Thankfully though, they are not throwing the caution yet. I think they caught him cleared out and okay there. Radford and Quick right now the only guys really to test each other's limits, test each other's rides out. Let's check out these guys right here. Of course, Matt Cobb and Jeff Napier. They are 2 heavy hitters in their own right, 2 front runners, if you will, when it comes to the racing world and the racing battleground of the IROC Series. They've been kind of staples, if you will, and they've been there from the get-go, and they've been here from the battle this season. And they've been doing a great job kind of keeping everything under control and everything in check here from start. pit stalls really going to be kind of curious to see here, because again, we haven't seen many of the guys really go in at a certain pace at a certain spot. They've been more focused on really long-term game and keep an eye on those cautions. Those cautions have been what kind of done a lot of these guys in so far, in my opinion, because some of them had to go in at a certain end, certain time, and really lost a lot more run than they realized here. Cop still holding on, still really making it work down there. Napier, though, the man that everyone's trying to catch up here with this, basically where he's at right now. David Tremblay here, you can see all that damage on that rear end, and I don't know if it's going to pop up on well on our camera angle here. Well, it kind of pops up, I guess, if you will. That thing is beaten, battered, and tortured, unfortunately. That poor soul has left the building here. The number 96 caught up, huge draft zone here for Napier and Kopp here, trying to hold down and hold away from it, though. He knows he can't just give out too much here. He can dish it as much as he can take it, that's for sure, but I don't know if he wants to really lose too much here. Tremblay holding down Napier, though. Napier still can't quite get a run on him just yet. As now Troy Radford and Brian McCann have separated out quite a bit. Neil Quick definitely separated by a long shot here, about 3 seconds ahead. That's certainly going to be a lot more of a telling a tale to hopefully find and struggle from. He's just pretty much on autopilot control at this point. He just needs to punch down about 25 more laps, and this one's kind of all but settled in. David Tremblay and Matt Kopp are also going to doing their little gig here, their own little race pattern here, staying focused on what matters most, and that's really hitting each round and bout turn, watching every section, every little corner off exit. Just making sure to watch out for trouble when he needs to. Kopp starting to get, Kopp managing to get around Tremblay here, managing to get a runoff here as he takes it down to the field and down to the motors here. Things starting to fall back in his line, heck, in his play. Kopp looking to hold on with Napier and Tremblay kind of finding right down at it yet again here. Looks like Tremblay might be looking for an opening here on Kopp. Kopp isn't exactly getting away from him here, and he's not exactly finding all the seams in the world to run away from. Speed's just kind of starting to die down a bit and really starting to become more of a tricky little spot or two. Napier right in the mix of that here, though. We'll see if he can keep kind of that Coors Light design machine in the run. Oh, caution flag out now as well. That will be resulting in a stage caution here. Drivers will get rack stacked and put back on the attack here with only about 25 laps to go. So now things will be really centered up and definitely be closed up a bit more now than ever before. But the one thing that remains the same, Neil Quick, he's been the points leader, he's been the points getter this entire time. Can he continue to reign the dominance and reign supreme here on the show? We will find out when we come back after this quick commercial message. Tonight's race, ladies and gentlemen, brought to you in part by our good friends over at Spartan Logistics Management LLC. By R&R Racewear, the official website store and merch store for iRacing as well as the IROC Challenge Series. By Loud Pedal Gaming TV, smashing the loud pedal of your viewing entertainment. By SimSpeedShop.com. By Track Time Entertainment. And by 5-Star Graphics. A big thank you and shout out from all of us here from P3's TV as well as from the Challenge Series. A big thank you for them, to the sponsors and all of them that help make these races possible and help make this show tonight possible as well, as we start to get things kind of wrapped up more on the field end of the track. So looking back at our race highlights here, right after race 10 of 16 right so far. Things have been pretty much all over the place and pretty crazy here. Now again, there are over 13 more races left to go, but the 16 part is to lead into the round of 16, of course, and only a few races left to go. Obviously, before that changes up, really puts the whole playing field into perspective. Honestly, the way I'm looking at it right now, it's kind of hard to really pick a winner or true defining premonition here of who's going to be able to point this one into the place. Because again, how difficult it is to hold every car online, kind of hold every point in play. I'd say more than anything, this is going to be kind of a testament to just the overall control and consistency that everyone usually faces here when they're working around. But again, you can see the difference between with Neil Quick and Brian McCann is extremely staggering, extremely crazy to say the least. That's just such a unique gap, such a kind of a perspective in there as well. It really changes the landscape up, really kind of gives things a little bit of a harder runoff. Especially when you got about 23-point deficits you got to make up here. Chris Medford, he's way a little bit lower in that pack, and Troy Radford and Cody Harger much of the same in tonight, not that being too fair to the other guys here, and unfortunately. So we'll see how much more these drivers have left under the tank and under the hood. Brian McCann will get the fastest out of pit road at least. Now, if I'm Brian right now, my first thought is like, alright, might have a chance to win this one, but I'm going to have to pretty much shoot this one to the moon and hope for the best. Not a bad idea if it works, but again, will that work? Will that end up working out alright in their favor? Because again, they're in kind of a tricky little spot here. They gotta stay focused on their momentum. They gotta stay focused on their control, and they gotta also really keep a closer eye on the big picture at hand, because that is something that can really bring in a lot of harder racing, a lot of harder battles here. So we'll have to keep it going and keep an eye on this one. But right now, so far, Brian McCann definitely going to have his hands full and going to have a lot of work to do. So he's not going to be out of the woods, especially with Neil Quick and the way his speeds have been. Here we go, race fans. They are doubled up now. They have got the lights off on the pace car. Drivers are prepared to go back to battle, back to the war, as the sky's finally starting to clear up just enough around here. It's starting to look nice and beautiful here down in old PA. Let's see what we can bring to the table, what these drivers can get down on the track as they're about to get to the green yet again. Race fans off to the green flag restart zone. Field is going to work their way around the track here, back in play. Everyone giving themselves some room, giving themselves some pretty good timing and positions here. Everyone working their way down through the first set of corner here of turn 1. David E. Brown trying to get out of the way of that old 94 Troy Radford man, sinking his nose right in the mix and in the hunt there of position. Trying to keep possibly some glimmer of hope, some glimmer of making some major points and some major gets here. The playoff season really starting to kick up a few notches when the time comes here. Jeff Napier now moving up on the high side, staying out of trouble. Well, whatever I said earlier about there might be a whole field wrecked out, unfortunately, because this track is catching all of them. I'm going to have to eat my words and say to them all down there, I apologize in advance. I'm dead wrong of that. Because right now they are firing off on all cylinders here to finish this one out. Much respect to them and much respect to everybody out there for doing that. Just goes to show you that these cars are not impossible to figure out. They may be tough, but they are certainly not impossible whatsoever. Just a little trial and error is all it takes around here, and then next thing you know, we got to figure it out. Speaking of getting it figured out right down there, you see the move coming off. Neil Quick got the run off there on number 3. Ryan McCann couldn't quite hold him down, couldn't quite hold the speed in play, and that gave just enough timing, enough room down there for the number 2 of Neil Quick take it over. McCann having to find another way to catch right back around him. Will he have time to catch him though? Will he have any kind of momentum left when he brings it in? On board here for McCann. He tries to get that ground. Trying to give Bradford a run as well. It's going to be a very tight situation if they're not too careful down there, and they know that all too well. Bradford paying very close attention. So much going on right now. We're still having right now a little bit of problems for him, unfortunately. Got sent to the shadow rim, got slowed down a little bit, lost a lot of momentum, but he's still hanging in there. Can I think just try to keep very focused, dead set on this one here. Even you got Tim Schofield even down there trying to just keep a close eye on things, especially with Quick and I work right around it. Still working for all he can right now. You can see him starting to build up a little bit of a pace, a little bit of a speed and build up. Neil trying to still stabilize it, just keep himself dead focused on the road ahead instead of what's behind him. So much going on, so much at play. He knows very much so. And Radford even getting a little bit more of a runoff than I think all these guys realize. If they're not careful about him here, he may just be a favorite to kind of take him down here. Here you see Bradford doing his own thing, just kind of keeping this thing online, on charge here, just trying to look for an opening or look for a couple spots here. He knows he's got it dead set. So much at stake right now. You can see the guys getting a little bit closer together, starting to tie the knots a little bit. Everyone's starting to really drive this thing in. McCann caught up there with Quick here. Quick knew he was losing a lot of time there and lost a lot of position just for one little brief second. And there was certainly some movement coming in. McCann trying to hold it down just a little bit longer. And looking Quick actually starting to run away a little bit more here. He looks like he's got the speed again, but McCann and Radford literally just drive right on that drive. You can see him swerving, trying to cross him over, get him out of there. That's a cool spot to get around it. Flag back on out though. We got a problem down here, unfortunately. It looks like I've been having some troubles all day apparently with my audio here. I'm not sure what's going on my end, but there are troubles down there, unfortunately. Kyle Pengraf getting the caution out a little bit later than I think he was hoping for here. 12 laps to go here in the race right now at Pocono. This thing's kind of slowed down to a crawl. So with that caution flag popping out here for a second or two, let's see what happened exactly here. See if we can get a good idea of what transpired here. Pengraf, unfortunately, looked like he might have had some problems coming through one of the corners here and ended up getting kind of caught up in between with some wrecks here. Here's the PT Master replay presented by 5-Star Graphics here. Let's take a look at this in the moment. In the moment here with number 14, Pengraf, you can just see that damage on that 14 still suffered from earlier on. Could not get everything back together, could not get the car completely set up. And you can see that definitely did not help his cause. And he came back out of turn two. Oh man, and Chris Wally. Yeah, you want to talk about a guy that literally just got sent out of here and back to the Shadow Realm. I mean, I gotta give him credit for at least trying to drive this thing out, but that was a tough break there for him. Taking a look at it. See if we can see exactly where did it transpire at, where did it go wrong at. And right there, everything just completely gone all over the place and completely out of control, unfortunately. That's a tough break there for Wally. Everyone just kind of getting put back in their place and back in position now. Now they're going to have to figure stuff out from here. And yep, Steve Singer, I do apologize there for the mic. My mic dropped a bit, unfortunately. I don't know what happened. I think unfortunately we might have had some wire miscommunications here from the device here down we have here at Long Pond, Pennsylvania. Either that or a hurricane completely destroyed my sound system when I least expected it. So I do apologize for that there, guys. If everything sounds better and everything sounds just right, then that's all I need to know. But no, shouldn't have any more troubles here today. Michael Fraz Rose, yep, I know. I couldn't even hear myself. I literally was watching back on the broadcast just to see if what the heck was going on. So right now, still a lot of work to do and still a lot of time to be had from all drivers here. But I would say more than anything here, Neil Quick definitely has proven he can really charge this thing up a few notches and hold on to the line. But at the same time, he's got himself in a bit of a bad spot because he's getting in a bit of a pickle situation here. Because he's having to deal with the guys like McCann and Brown behind him, looking for an opening or looking for a way to charge him up and take him down a few notches. That's kind of where the scary part is to me, is just trying to figure out if it's going to be enough, if there's going to be enough time to really hold on. Steve says all good now. Alright, awesome. Well, I was hoping it was all good now. Alright. Well, 8 laps is all we've got left. 8 laps for this race here at Pocono. 10th caution of the night. And I got a feeling this will be the last of them. But the ultimate question is, can Quick get enough of a runoff? Can he get enough speed out of the gate to stabilize the car down and make sure he does not let anything get ahead of him? David McNeil coming on board saying couldn't hear either, but works good now. Thank you for the comment there, sir, and thanks for letting us know, sir. Thanks for coming on by as well. Just kind of see some last minute action here. I know you're working a little bit late down on the show, so definitely appreciate at least tuning in for one little round. 8 laps remain here, the race fans. Which one of these drivers is going to be able to walk away with this one and take this one home? We're about to find out here at Old Pocono. These guys have been pushing to shove and running as hard as they can, just hoping for every ounce that they can get here. And now it's about to collide in a final collision course. Neil Quick will have his hands tied and have his hands full. Ryan McCann already riding that bumper up here, maybe looking to pull the draft and move off. And look at right behind him here. Where the heck did Tim Schofield come from? Here comes the number 12 as he just charges right through him. He's now right up there with the race leaders. The first time we've seen Schofield literally in a hot pursuit, in a hot battle here. Things just got ramped up to 11 all of a sudden. You got 4 guys that are literally in this battle here trying to hold the line down. Jeff Napier was one of them, but that's not going to happen anymore. David Tremblay in the wall, spinning it out. And unfortunately for Troy Radford, he stabs it right out of turn 2. And yet again, another tunnel turn takes out another set of drivers. Oh my goodness. That tunnel turn in turn 2, my friends, is not the place to be, and it certainly is not the place you want to deal with. Holy smokes, a huge little wreck and right in the section there, could not get anything figured out. It's hard to even imagine this point, but it definitely did here. We'll take a look at the Pizza Mister replay. Let's give you guys just a better idea of how tough it was for everyone involved in this one little shootout here. So you can see right here, Napier was going down low, trying to hold it down. Looks like Radford, I don't think had any contact. David Trumley was trying to save it. We'll take one more look at it from our blimp cam view here. I did not see any initial contact on there with the drivers. It may have been wrong. Here's Napier. No, there was definitely no contact there. You can see David Tremblay. He was already loose off turn there. So yeah, 3 situations popping up at the same exact time. And we are on a track with 3 turns. And it's called a tricky triangle. So I think we're on to something here. I think this track really is the Bermuda Triangle of all of racing. I mean, if it isn't, I'd like to know which one it is. So the drivers have now kind of put themselves into a bit of a collision course once again. And it could be a wild one here. Again, the biggest thing I think really these guys are just going to have to watch out for is some of them have really been actually taking charge and taking aim here. And making it much easier to jump off of the front, jump off into the battle, and hope for something here in the limits. It's kind of hard to see like how exactly that has been going for them and how much further they will go with it, but at the same time, man, it just seems like it's getting closer and closer to the big reveal, the big showcase. See what happens there. Oh, here we are, race fans. 4 laps remain on the restart. And that's could get interesting. We saw the start with Tim Schofield that he's been able to actually make a little bit of a run here. Trying to get up there with the field, maybe have a chance at getting a podium finish here. We'll see if maybe that's going to happen here in this case as well. We haven't been able to get the energy alive and well here on Pete's Race TV for a little bit tonight. Things have been kind of a longer format, kind of a longer race. But when the battle got good, the battles were there. Well, we think there's going to get another chance, another shot at that here in just a little bit. Can Neil Quick hold on just a little longer? Can he hold out just a little bit more and pop away with the W? We are not totally for sure. We are definitely not understanding for sure if it's going to get it. All we know is this. Expect the unexpected and expect whatever comes next, because we will always cover it. We'll cover it as hard as we can. We'll cover it as well as we can. What's it going to be here? Will someone roll the dice and win this one out, or will someone get put back into the shadow realm? We're about to find out here as they come off of turn number 3. Heading up, heading back down. This field of over 40,000 in attendance. Ready to watch this one play out in front of their eyes. Green flag back in the air at Pocono. And those that are left on the track know that they are in a dire fight. Hoping for everything they can. And it may get a little bit more crazier than we realize here. David E. Brown kind of cutting down the nose of Schofield. Schofield pushing it right up to him. Brian McCann trying to get some runoff here on the number 2, Neil Quick. Quick able to block him though, trying to enter in that turn as high as he did. He was looking for the run to the inside, looking to try, take aim and fire away quickly, but he did not get enough of the number 2 here. Oh, no, 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 no. Schofield straight dab into the wall protection. The 12 smashed right off of turn 2. The tunnel turn yet again claims another one. David E. Brown able to get away from it. Brian Rose, though, not out of this one yet. Might have a chance here at a 3rd place finish if he can get it going just a little bit more. He's going to have to try to hunt down David, but right now your battle is for the race lead. With only 3 laps to go, the old 3 himself, Brian McCann, trying desperately, and I mean desperately, to get that bumper of Neil Quick. The draft is going to be the biggest factor here. Going to get that push off that big runoff. There's the inside corner, looking for the pass, looking for the move. McCann dives her in deep. Quick's not going to back off, try to cross him over. He's going to race him. He'll race him side by side here, down off the turns. I'm not so sure this might be a smart idea here for the number 2 to give him so much leeway as a caution flies out. Trouble for Brian Rose. Rose with trouble down here, down turn number 2. And just when things you thought couldn't get any more crazy and out of control, turn 2 had to say, hold my beer and see what happens next. This is a tough one to go through, and a green-white checkered is in stable order for 3 of them here in this case. Man, Brian Rose tonight just looked like he had something going. Looked like he was going to try to get him there. And you can see, look at the little slide job here, kind of sliding himself around. But the little contact there on the 40 kind of spelled a disaster here for the rest of the field here, unfortunately. And I guarantee you that Napier is not too upset about that, or not too unenthused about it, because the fact that I think he knows that it was a kind of a dire issue. But I think as a driver still, you gotta be a little bit annoyed that that kind of happened at you, and I know he's probably still thinking about that all too well. Just trying to stay out of trouble, and you see his wreck kind of happening here. He just kind of backs off, lets the car do his own thing. Decides to just kind of stay under cool and stay pressurized. That's exactly what he had to do there. The sun is starting to shine brighter down here, so I think right now, the way the clouds are kind of popping in, the way this track is looking, I think we might be in for a pretty beautiful little sunrise finish. So right now, everyone hoping and praying just to kind of give themselves a bit of another chance, another shot or two. The green white checker is up for grabs here. Is now the field. We'll have to see to it. We'll see if we can finish this one up and finish this one out. They'll get 3 green white checker attempts here. And those that may even survive out here this long in this race, man. Remember, we start with 22 drivers tonight. We're down to only really about 10, 12 on the lead lap, or 10, just about 10, 12 here on the race. Only 7 on the lead lap, for that matter. So if you're able to at least keep your car at least a 1 check long enough, for at least somewhat enough to keep kind of running off, it definitely made a difference here. Turn 2 then leads into turn number 3 here on this 2.5 mile long track of Pocono. One of the biggest super speedway tracks you see on the shows and on the markets here. And it's been a while. When Chris Wallace saying who's my pick, I'll be honest with you, I think I'm going to have to go with Brian McCann on this one. I mean, to me, he's got the speed, he's got the tenacity, and he's definitely got the momentum to carry through this one. So I'd have to say he's probably my pick overall to take this one to the end. If he doesn't, then I would be very shocked here, because really, the only other one that can even match him right now, in my opinion, is definitely going to be Neil Quick, as the guys bring it right down onto the restart zone, back to the green flag, maybe for the last time tonight. McCann definitely heard my words of advice and everything, because he just avoided that long draft line there. Got a huge burst of speed here coming down turn number 1. Showcasing why I picked him to win this one out and finish this race off with only 2 to go. You can see him literally just driving off bottom, off top, setting the turn up only when he had to go up to the top side here. Trying to just avoid and keep clear of that drafting here. And the draft here, Quick is starting to catch up here. He looks like he's got a run on him. Neil's got to be careful though. One little wrong move and it could be game over here between both of them. Neil is still working with every ounce of his fiber, trying to work everything he can just to try to get something to go. As a white flag now comes on out. White is out here on the show. McCann's got one last opportunity and one last objective to defeat, and that of course is what Neil Quick is bringing in the number 2. Neil is doing everything he can just to get something, to get more grip, get more speed, but it just will not take full aim and full charge. Riding him down off of turn number 2, though. This is where everyone's made mistakes all day long. McCann didn't make a mistake. Came out clean. Quick might know its time has come. David E. Brown looking for one last little fight off there. Quick here. They're trying to get one last little run, but it's not enough, because at turn 3, the tricky triangle is going to belong to the number 3 himself. Brian McCann wins at Pocono Raceway. Talk about heading the haymaker and talk about heading everything she's got down there. this was certainly a long, drawn out fight from start to finish. But for one Brian McCann, I think it was more than just that. I think it was all about proving a point and proving he is still a force to be reckoned with and a guy you cannot take lightly on any track. Talk about giving it his heart, giving it his soul. He's going to put this one into victory lane. Qualified first. He wins. He ends it at first. And I think he knows what's coming next. It's been a while since we've been able to see him do the donuts there, and he's already going to throw a few haymakers in there. Completely just destroyed the whole rear end. No safety warrant on that one. Take a look at our race results now. Brian McCann is your race winner tonight at Pocono. Neil Quick goes second, third to David E. Brown, fourth to Gut Quick, fifth to Jeff Napier, sixth to David Tremblay, seventh to Doug Wysocki, eighth to Matt Kopp, ninth to Brian Rose, 10th to Tim Schofield, rounding out top 10 in this case, as well as our other finishers, of course, throughout this race, throughout this event. Boy, what a race it was! What a battle! That's exactly what we'd like to see here on P3's TV. It's just good, clean, hard fighting and racing here when they can. But, you know, the thing is, tonight this track was never going to be able to give it to you that easily. And that certainly was the case. But let's take it down, talk with our drivers here. David E. Brown is your third place finisher here tonight. And I'm not getting a word on whether or not he'll join us tonight. So I'll go ahead and give him a shot. I'll give him the shot clock here. See if he can bring it in. Or otherwise, we'll just call it a night without him. But nevertheless, if we do, this is congratulations to him for his third place finish. Let's take it down, talk with Mr. Neil Quick here, as Neil certainly has quite a bit to say about this one here. Let's talk with him now as he brings it home for second place here tonight. Neil, first off, congratulations here on that second place finish. And it was seemingly, it looked like from start to go, looked like everyone kind of had troubles really keeping these things online, especially in turn two. I mean, you never seemed to be really full too much down there. Why was it when you were having more control over it than everyone else? Hold on, folks. I think I might have to readjust that. Yeah, I got a copy?
Yeah, I got you.
Okay, do you need us to repeat what we said?
Yes, I didn't hear anything.
Okay, that's just double checking. So I know tonight has been pretty much kind of a wild, frenetic pace and a little hard racing here today. It certainly has been quite the showing, quite the support and scene here to say the least. But let me ask you this here. I mean, it seemed like more than anything, the biggest trouble was always drivers just kind of find the wrong area and the wrong place to kind of mess up on. And it seemed like you guys had that issue really back at the, I believe it was literally turn two, the tunnel turn, that everyone was given all sorts of troubles and kind of sent on down around. I mean, how was it you were able to keep that thing online and hold on for dear life there?
I was even struggling there at the end, racing with Brian. I was getting loose through there. It just really a hard car setup to figure out tonight. Just took a lot of work and uh, guess fine tuning and getting the feel that you needed to run hard. And the oddball about the whole thing is the more you pushed on this car, the more that you would have some issues with the setup on it tonight. So just running good consistent laps and not trying to push too hard there, and that's kept me out of trouble in the tunnel turn.
For sure there. Well, nevertheless, kept the tunnel turn and all that safe and regarded and kept it under position. So as you kept everything under position and really rounded out this one tonight, I will ask you this at Pocono. Who do you want to thank you for the second place finish, sir?
Uh, the sponsors, of course, Spartan Logistics, Sim Speed Shop, Track Time Entertainment, Chris, and all the guys that put the league on for us to run on Thursday nights, and of course the guys I race with, and you guys doing the broadcast. You guys do a great job.
Really appreciate it there, Neil. Congratulations on your second place finish here, bud, and it's great to have you back on board here for your second place tonight.
Yeah, congrats to Brian. Ran really good tonight. It was fun.
For sure there. Ladies and gentlemen, points leader still Neil Quick. Coming away with another solid day of performance and position as we talk with our last driver tonight, Ladies and gentlemen, the race winner here, pilots the number 3 in the tricky triangle with only 3 turns. I guess the number 3 has now kind of cemented itself here as the winner here today, Brian.
Yeah, tough race.
It was a tough race and looked like a few times there you could have gone either way with these guys. Could have gone a little bit more on the edgy, kind of crashed out side of things, but now you guys kept everything online as well and kept a good charge here. I'm gonna ask this, so how was the car feeling on that last 5 laps there? Because it seemed like you had a really good start, a really good fight out of the gate, but then the car kind of slowed down a little bit when you were facing with Neil. Then on the last restarts, you were able to get around him and take the full aim and full charge, and then it was just kind of smooth sailing from there. How was it there for you?
This car really loves this on the setup we've running. It really loved the clean air. So when you were behind somebody, especially on old tires, there it just pushed real bad, especially into one. So once I got out front and had that clean air, that's how it happened. But I was lucky there because on that last caution, we were side by side with Neil in turn 3, and I guess I just had just a little bit of nose on him when that caution flew.
Sir there, and then giving him pretty much just enough time to kind of push this one in over the top and into victory lane. So Brian, as we sign off tonight with you, my friend, you're gonna walk away with the W and a victory. So who do you want to thank you for this one?
My wife, my family, everybody watching tonight, broadcast, sponsors, everybody who races with us, great group of guys. If you're watching, join us for the next season. Yep.
Sir, I'd say definitely worth the look and worth the tune in. Brian, thank you so much for your time. Congratulations on your win tonight, bud.
Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, Brian McCann, your race winner here tonight in the old number 3 here at the Tricky Triangle. And really, that all but wraps up the show. Thank you again to our good friends over at Spartan Logistics Management LLC, R&R Racewear, Loud Pedal Gaming TV, SimSpeedShop.com, Track Time Entertainment, and of course 5-star graphics for everything and you guys brought to the table, as well as you folks as well that tuned on and stayed with us. I know I had some audio troubles tonight again, and I apologize for that, but come tomorrow night, promise that won't happen. So nevertheless, though, we will sign off from here at Pocono. Thanks so much for everything, guys. I'll see you guys. The green flag flies next time here on the show.